ask and you shall receive is such a classic scripture that is recited a lot, and it seems a little bit too good to be true. What do you mean, not ask and I shall receive, or knock and the door will be open? Like, how many times have I knocked and that motherfucker stays closed? You know what I'm saying? And so me and Julianne were, you know, I was watching this guy's testimony. I was watching a YouTube video of this guy's testimony last night, and it was a beautiful testimony. Um, and I just got up. Julian was sitting right here. She was studying, and I just got up and I was like, "Hey, I just want to go outside and pray." Um, and the way I don't pray when I just want to go outside and just have a conversation with God. That's my form of prayer. Like, imagine just talking to a friend. That's how it is for me, right? And so she wanted to come along. So she comes along. We ended up just having me and her having a conversation with God, you know what I mean? Or the conversation was God working through both of us, you know what I mean? We're having this conversation. And I told her about some of the things that the guy was saying, and also like he was talking about sometimes like the only thing stopping you from the things you want is just asking, and having the courage to ask. And I told her that, I said that's like such a problem for me though, because sometimes I feel like I'm afraid to ask, because asking for something means that like I want something, and I don't want to come off as like not being gratuitous. Like I love what I have, and I'm appreciative for what I have, and I'm grateful for what I have, and I feel like by asking I'm being ungrateful. And then she said, and then Julian was kind of like, that's a lot of, so you're saying that you have to ask in a certain roundabout way to ensure that you're asking the right way to get the thing. And also you're asking for, like, she's like, my relationship with God is not like that. Like, it's not about asking for like for material things. She's like, he's not some sort of vetting machine. And I questioned that. I said, I don't think he is either, but he's still, or, because her relationship with God she has a very spiritual relationship. And Julianne is so spiritual that it doesn't even like phase her, right? Like, it's the small things that matter to her. But also, dude, we were in the car ride yesterday, and she just like admitted she's like, oh yeah, by the way, like, I heard my voice twice recently. She couldn't remember like the exact scenario, but she's like, yeah, I heard my voice twice, and I knew what it was, and I just appreciated it, and I moved on, you know. And I was like, what? Why didn't you tell me that? Like, I've been asking for years to hear that voice, and I never get it, and I know why. It's because, like, if I got it, I would ask for it again. You know what I mean? I'd be like, let me hear that motherfucker again, right? I wouldn't believe it the first time, or I would just keep wanting more. While as for Julianne, she doesn't want more. She just is like, oh, okay, cool, and moves on. She's not like looking forward, like, oh, I need to hear it again. But she heard her voice, or she heard her name, like someone. She literally said it was like this, Julianne. Like, it was like a sentence. It was like, Julianne, and there's nobody there. You know what I mean? Like, shit like that, right? But anyways, back to what I was saying is, as I told her, I was like, yeah, but in some ways, God is sort of a vending machine, but not really. Like between me and Julianne, or between any relationship that you have in your life, there's a push and a pull. Like, you both people are giving and both people are taking from that relationship. But we're both humans, you know what I mean? But when you're having a relationship with the universe or with God or creator or something like that, you're having a relationship with something that is like something or whatever that is like not a human, you know what I mean? That has the ability to do shit, to make shit happen, right? And so it can sometimes feel like a vending machine, because I feel by nature, as you begin to surrender more and you lean more and you rely more and you let go of the worry and the doubt and the fear and you give it all, give it all to God, classic thing, whatever it is. Like, by nature, you get better, like, and you feel and you have more confidence, and there's other ways you can ask for things. Like, I asked for my mother to become healthy, and I prayed for my mother. I asked to be the man that overcomes the generational trauma. I asked to be a better, like, when in my last relationship after that ended, I was like, I want to be a way better man for that next partner, and I am that man. Like, I asked for things that are not material, but I was put through it's not like always positive too. The vending machine's not a positive thing, bro. You could ask, just like Kanye said. Kanye said, I want to like what did he say? He's like, I prayed to feel no more pain, and then he took my mother, and now I can feel no more pain, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? And we got into this deep dude, it was supposed to be like a quick walk. It didn't be like a 45-minute walk, and we're just kind of going back and forth on this. And she's like, yeah, but can I just be proud of myself? Like she's like, I used to be a really bad test taker and really bad anxiety, especially during my master's program. But then each test I took, it got easier, and I was proud of myself. I was more confident in myself. And I said, yeah, that's okay to be more confident in yourself. But I think what happens, what should happen first, not should, but what could possibly happen first is the gratitude. Because, in her scenario, like, she would be really scared to take tests, and then she would go into it free for all. And I was like, maybe in my scenario, it would be, I would fear that, I would feel that fear, and I would immediately go, like, now, right now, not in the past. I would not do this in the past, but like how I am right now, if I'm feeling this type of way, and I've already done this with work, things that are stressing me out, I would immediately go out into the woods and talk out loud. Go talk to the universe, go talk to God, whatever. Go talk to the trees, whatever your thing is, right? But go talk out loud. Lean on your higher power. And then as the test got easier, I would give gratitude and be like, yo, thank you for being something to lean on and giving me and strengthening me, right? And so we just kind of got into this debate, almost not debate, that's the wrong word, but just this kind of a conversation, this exploration of what is God, and is it okay to ask for things? Like, then are also material things, because I told her, I was like, it's not wrong for the single mother that's working 3 jobs to ask for like a house, like an apartment for her children. You know what I mean? Like, it's not wrong for the dude that's having a hard time getting to work asking for a car, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with those things, I think part of the religious shame, like that the churches teach, is like, it's wrong to ask for material things. That the classic saying, which is like, it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven than it is to like for something about a needle, bro. Like something about eye of the needle. It's like a horse fitting through the eye of the needle, something like that, right? But it's more about the greed, right? It's also about why you're asking, because the guy, the testimony that the guy was talking about was like, I asked for things. Like, I asked to be the best at my position. I asked for more money, but it's not because I want to go flaunt my wealth and my success. It's because I want to be like an example of how can God change your life, right? Because he talked about how he's going to a conference in a couple weeks, and then at this conference he's like speaking because he's giving a speech because his team broke like all the sales records. His team was like the best sales guy, and he wants to go up to the stage and be like, dude, guys, I'm an idiot, I'm a buffoon, I am nothing. This is all glory to God, right? And that's a classic thing, is give it all to God. Like that's a classic thing to say. But there's something about that. It's about why if you ask for something, and it's not about wording it a proper way. It's about your higher power knows your heart, bro. And even if you don't believe in any higher power shit, and you primarily, or you only believe in psychology, when you ask for things and your subconscious is rotten and has a lot of shadow work needed, and your subconscious is filled with trauma, everything you're asking is from a place of insecurity, and everything you will receive is in a basket of insecurity, right? So if you just think about it like that, right? If I'm like, you see this with all these people that got money all the time, right? If these people, like, there's so many people that are so insecure that they think like look at clavicular. That guy is so rich, successful now. He's changed his face. He's on a thing, but he's fucking miserable. The dude's miserable. He's depressed as fuck. You know why? Because he's like, his whole way he lives is through a deep rooted insecurity of feeling like he has to change everything about himself to be accepted and loved by the world. And so it doesn't matter what he receives, because the gift basket that he's holding is riddled in anxiety. It's woven with threads of insecurity. It's woven with threads of worthlessness, of a trauma, right? Of because he's neurodivergent, and he grew up neurodivergent. Obviously, you're born that way, right? And it's very hard to live like that because you're feeling so different. And so for him, the way he's overcoming that is by like changing himself. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And so I think it's about how you ask, right? Because if you do all your shadow work, and it's almost like when you do the shadow work and you're there, you don't need anything. You become the tree outside. You get your roots are so deep in the soil that the birds begin to come. And you're not worried about whether you drop a leaf falls off of you or not. It doesn't matter. The birds are coming. The squirrels are nesting inside of you. You're becoming a magnet of life, a place of abundance, right? That's so much different than if you don't do the work and you're asking for things from a place of insecurity where you're constantly reaching, you're constantly forcing yourself into positions, willing your way through life. You're working against the grain rather than letting things flow to you. You're trying to get to different things, and you're constantly going to be running into the wall, or you're constantly going to be feeling this emptiness inside of you. I'm not saying this with certainty. Maybe I'm just speaking on myself. And so we have this conversation, and Julianne told me, she's like, she in her head, me and her are very different. In her head, she thinks like I'm an evangelist. Like she's like, you just come off. I'm like, you trigger me. That's what she says to me, and that's great. I mean, we have wonderful communication like this, and it's not like I get upset with this. It's like she's just telling me like, you're triggering to me because the way you speak reminds me of the people that I grew up in church with. And I said, yes, but I'm not like religious. And just because I say the same things doesn't mean I mean the same things, right? And a great example of this was I was at work. I was at work one time a while ago, and me and some of my coworkers were talking about Atlanta, and I say I like Atlanta, and my black coworker, she said she don't like Atlanta, which is fine. She like whatever. She's like it's whatever. And then my white coworker was like, oh yeah, I hate Atlanta, and like went on and on and on about it. And I was like, you guys are not. And I got upset about it because I looked at the girls like, you guys aren't saying the same thing. He's literally just being fucking racist, right? That's the difference. It's like another example is like when I was in my master's in counseling, I intuitively I have the temperament of a psychologist. Like I'm already that person. The degree was just to show that I have the degree, right? It's not like I'm going to learn about stuff, right? Yes, you're learning about certain like ethics and like what's ethically correct and stuff like that. But in regards of being the person that can connect with people and being able to psychoanalyze people or just having the emotional maturity and the self awareness to give people space and stuff like that and be very observant. I'm already that. And so it was so dumbfounding in my master's program when, it's me as someone who's I feel like the only people that should be therapists and psychiatrists are people that have deep mental health issues because the broken can heal the broken. Someone that's never been broken cannot heal shit. I'm sorry. Bro, my dog keeps farting. It's so bad. Like, and so I was in this class, and so many people have never had mental health issues. They even were like in the beginning of the year, like, do I need to go to therapy? Is that recommended? And like, yeah, it's recommended, but you don't have to go. Like 80% of my classmates had never been to therapy, and it was weird to me because for me, I'm intuitively understanding the content. For them, they're just regurgitating the DSM-5, and that's what I mean when I say, when I tell Julianne, it's like there's a difference between if I'm saying asking shall receive, I'm not just like reiterating some bullshit that I read. It's like, oh, I've asked for I understand what that means now. I'm starting to understand the Bible beyond the words on the page. I'm like, and I don't even read the Bible, but you understand what I'm saying, like, or any religious text. If I read the Quran, the Torah, whatever it is, like, I'm understanding the words on the page. Buddhist practice. I'm understanding the practice, right? It's no longer words on a page. It's not something that I'm just regurgitating. I'm not thinking to myself, oh, I need to go to church every Sunday. That's how I'm going to be holy. I need to read the Bible X amount of times a day. That's how I'm going to be holy. No, the only reason I'm using it's just like the easiest thing to use because it's the only thing I've read. When I'm in public, I'm like, I'm blessed. I always say I'm blessed, right? Or I'm gonna go pray. It's not what she thinks is what I'm gonna do. It's not that. It's just the easiest way to get across what I'm trying to say. And so we got into this discussion about this. But in the end, I think it's your relationship to your higher power also comes with a lot. You have to have the courage to ask for things because you have to have the courage to look at yourself with honest eyes, right? Like this whole car ride this morning to work, I was just talking to God about like my fear of asking him for stuff because I have this issue where I feel like by asking for things, I'm not being gratitude, and I want to do things perfectly, and I want things to be a certain way, and just my fear involved with asking, and in a way, I ask for help on asking for stuff, You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? And oh, another thing that we talked about was like knocking the door. She's like, yeah, but Julian was like, yeah, but you also have to walk. You have to move your feet. You could do both things need to be true at the same time. You got to keep walking your feet, and you can ask for you and also you have to be spiritually discern. Like you have to discern things spiritually. She's like, what happens to the person that had been begging for a position to open and they've been waiting for it to open and then it opens up and they don't apply to it? And I said, yeah, but she's like, see, look, they knocked, but they didn't open the door. I said, no, that's not true. They knocked by asking for the position. That's them knocking. The door opening is the position being open. They're just too scared to walk through the door. And I had a whole video about this one time where I said that people are receiving signs all the time. The hand of the universe, the hand of God is being reached out to them at all times. You know, in minor ways, in small ways. Like even Julianne and I, we went on our normal walk in the woods. All of a sudden, there was just all of a sudden, like a whole bunch of blackberries spawned, and she was like in heaven. Like you should have seen my fiance frolicking in the blackberry field. It was like the cutest thing ever, right? But I think people ask for things, or they knock, and the door is open, and then the door being opened, they're like, "Fuck!" It scares them, and they don't even realize that's the door opening. They don't have the discernment or the awareness to be like, "Oh, wait, this is the thing I asked for." But because they're too scared, or they know it's the thing they asked for, but now they're too scared to walk through it because they know now things are going to change. Even though those things are going to get better, you're still going to be out of your comfort zone. And so I think, what the heck? So in the end, I think I just wanted to say, like, it's okay to ask for things, but first ask yourself, why am I asking for this? Is it where is this coming from? Is it coming from a place of insecurity, or is it coming from a place of abundance, of gratitude, of I think you can want more, and it doesn't mean you're being ungrateful for what you have now. It can be additive. And yeah. Sorry, this is like a this and there. It was a long video, but all right, I'm done. Guys, girls, gays, queers, and them, these are any all. Everyone, anyone, have a blessed rest of your Wednesday. I'll catch you guys on a beautiful Thursday.